What's going on, people? This is Kiss Shorty Gaming Nation in the building. Um, um, doing this very important video. I did a video about this, but I'm gonna do a live breakdown of it. It's called "Evaluating the Serafina Virus and its Effects on Black Men's Relationship with Black Women." The Serafina virus is like Agent Smith from The Matrix, right? The Serafina virus is a as black women adopting the feminist program. And then ever since the 60s when they took that on, they have been systematically destroying black men and destroying these relationships, teaching younger women to rebel against black men. And in my belief, in my wholeheartedness, I believe that the white man used the black woman to destabilize black men's patriarchy. But the Serafina virus, it's she hides herself behind being pro-black. She hides herself behind liking black men and wanting to be in relationships with black men, and she even pretend to like you, even pretend to love you. All right. And for that very reason, it makes it very difficult for black men to even engage with black women from the very beginning because, you know, regardless of your vetting process, regardless of what you're looking for, the red flags you may look for, the red flags you may see when it comes to dating black women, their whole goal is to pretend they like you, right? Remember, Agent Smith, he's able to hide himself in the Matrix by infecting other programs. And when he's ready to strike at you or beat you down, he transforms into himself. But by that time, he's too late. Remember, Agent Smith was even that strong enough to turn the Oracle. Remember, the Oracle in the Matrix movie was a very powerful program. She rebelled against the Matrix itself, and she was helping Morpheus and Neo free other people from the Matrix. Right? Remember, Agent Smith was that strong enough to turn her, and he was even that strong enough to turn Neo. Right? Even though Neo was able to resist it, he was able to resist it just a little bit. And that's what some of you black men do. You're able to resist Serafina for a moment, but at the end of the day, she's gonna turn you. You feel me? And this programming is everywhere in every black chick you come across, even the good ones. All right, and I'm gonna show you here on YouTube. We're gonna go through interracial dating. I'm gonna show you a lot, but first we're gonna break down the character. Right? Let's break down the character right quick. Now, there's a reason why Serafina looks this way: pro-black, the turban, the hair, the candles in the back, the pro-black garb, the ankh earrings, all of that shit. All right, because this is how I saw black women in those pro-black movements, especially out here in New York when you used to go up to the Black National Theater out in Harlem. Right, I saw them. They always some Nefertiti type of bitch, always some Kundalini energy healing type of bitch. All right, they go into those pro-black circles and they pretend that they're for the black cause. Meanwhile, preaching feminism and Marxism and progressivism, and then pushing a lot of LGBT agenda into those black spaces. Right, like I said, Serafina virus. Her intention is to destroy the black community, mainly to destroy the black man's patriarchy. So, it's this is a serious person, right? Character dossier, Serafina. Serafina's not just a woman. She's an infiltration program, a systematically crafted psychological agent embedded within black culture. Her purpose is not to build, nurture, and empower the black man, but to weaken him, divide him, and ultimately remove him from his rightful place, all while pretending to uplift him. Serafina mirrors the characteristics of Agent Smith from The Matrix. Only instead of replacing people with clones, she infects minds and culture with ideology disguised as love. She can be very anywhere. She can be anywhere. She can be anyone. and like Smith, her influence spreads. Let's break that down, right? This is something that I created, and I could break down my own shit and add on to it, right? Um, what do you mean by removing the black man from his rightful place while pretending to uplift him? You got a lot of black women on these YouTube spaces as of late. I don't even have to go back to the 80s and 90s, right? In these YouTube spaces that will say, well, we're no longer going to uplift black men, or we march for black men, or Black Lives Matter. Remember, Black Lives Matter was started by a couple lesbian women, and look how that movement turned out. In the beginning, it was the whole idea was to what to bring out the police brutality that was committed against black men, right? And then when you looked at their mission statement, hold on, let me go pull up their mission statement. Black Lives Matter mission statement. Oh, I don't even have to. I don't even have to take you back to the 80s and the 90s. Now, the reason why I would take you back to the 80s and the 90s is because a lot of black women on these YouTube like to pretend like they don't know where black men's frustration came from or why black men are acting the way they're acting. No, it's a reason for it, because we saw you do what you were doing during the 80s and the 90s. And they like to pretend as if they don't know why black men are attacking black women, or what they call black men attacking black women, right? Where is this shit? There it is. These three women are the perfect example of a Serafina virus. A lot of black women in Hollywood are Serafina viruses, right? Black Lives Matter goal to disrupt the nuclear family fits a Marxist aim that goes back a century and a half. Black Lives Matter's goal fits a Marxist paradigm that stretches all the way back to Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. The organization Black Lives Matter has removed from its website a page that included language condemning America's Western prescribed nuclear family structure. The page titled "What We Believe" includes various public policy positions unrelated to police brutality and police reform. That's just crazy, because how Black Lives Matter started was based upon police reform, right? Oh shit, we're gonna play some videos, right? Like I told you, Serafina, she speaks love and pro-black, but what's hidden under it is Marxism, which I remember. This is when I used to go to those pro-black circles. This is before I knew what Marxism was. This is what I knew. This is before I knew what even capitalism was, right? But I knew that what they were talking was very anti-patriarchal, very anti-black man, very anti-black family. I knew it was. I just didn't know what to call it at the time. And this is when I was like 18, 19, in my early 20s, right? Let's go down here. Let's see. Let's see what the archive page is saying. 4 years ago, what is now known as Black Lives Matter Global Network began to organize. It started as a chapter-based led organization whose mission was to build local power and to intervene when violence was inflicted on black communities by state vigilantes, that being the police, right? This is how Marxism, by the way, this is how Marxism and communism infect your community. They come through pretending that they're going to help you, pretending that they have a moral goal, but then in the end, it's to destroy you, which is what the Serafina virus is, that it inhibits black women, right? All right. This is talking about the death of Trayvon Martin, and this was a perfect movement because black people was already tired of what was going on with the police and them killing black folks. Let me go. Let's see. Where is it? Here it is. We make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle patriarchal practice that requires mothers to work double shift so that they can mother in private, even as they participate in public justice work. The hypocrisy behind that is that under a patriarchal structure, women don't have to work. Women get to sit straight at home while the men go to work. That's what's hypocritical about that structure. Let's go up here. We're guided by the fact that all Black lives matter, regardless of actual perceived sexual identity, gender expression, economic status, blah 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 blah. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. Remember, these things go against patriarchy. These things go against traditional patriarchy, right? Because a lot of patriarchy is based upon Abrahamic religions. The Abrahamic religions condemn a lot of these things, right? Black trans folks, especially black trans women who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. Now, this is very manipulative, right? But we're not going to go into that right now. But this is what your Serafina virus, your black women was infecting your brothers with, bro. We build a space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. Mind you, we live in a man's world. Okay? We live in an environment where it's chaos. So if your men do not win, you do not win. And you fall victim and prey to whatever is in that environment or any other man that's in the environment. So as black women, you should have a black man centered your black men. The keys to victory of any nation is through your men and how dominant your men can be. All right. We make our spaces family friendly. We dismantle patriarchal practices. What did I tell you that Serafina virus is for? To destroy the black male patriarchy. Mind you, they're not doing this in white communities, amongst white men. They're doing this specifically in black men, amongst black culture. You see what I'm saying? We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. What do you mean by extended families? See, in black culture, what happens, right, is there's a lot of infidelity and there's a lot of promiscuity going on. So when they say extended families and villages, they're talking about a chick that slept with several dudes over on the other hand, over on the other side of the track, and you expect a black man to be the stepdaddy of that person. Which again, patriarchal practices go against that. Right? Nuclear family is a monogamous thing where the women or children are tied to that man. Feel what I'm saying? I forgot. I was going to say something else to that extended family shit, and I forget what it was. But anyway, we foster queer family network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, or rather the belief that all in the world are heterosexual, unless she, he, or they disclose otherwise. You can't even disclose if you're straight, bro. They condemn you for that. We cultivate an intergenerational and communal network free from ageism. We believe that all people, regardless of age, show up with the capacity to lead and learn. What? Age, wisdom comes with age and experience. You can't have a young nigga who don't know what the fuck he doing leading anybody. Bro, I told you this is what the Serafina virus does. All right. And the Black Lives Matters movement was under the disguise of it took advantage of what was going on black men, and they used straight black men who were getting shot by the police as the catalyst. This is what I mean when they say that they pretend to love you, they pretend that they're for black men, but then they use your image to usurp. They use that to usurp you. Oh, my bad. Ugh. Oh, I didn't add.
Um,
My
I
fault.
also think that it might. Um,
Hold on, my bad, my bad. Hold on. I didn't share that shit on stage, so bear with me. This is what I was talking about earlier, right? From up here, we build spaces to affirm black women is free from sexism, misogyny. Right? This is what I was talking about earlier. All right, we're unapologetic, black, or in our positioning. Affirming that Black Lives Matter, we need not qualify our position to love, to desire freedom, justice for ourselves. We are guided by the fact that all Black Lives Matter, regardless of actual perceived sexual identity. All right. Let me make sure that I'm actually okay. Cool. Yes, it's showing up on the other side. All right. Let me put it like that right there. All right. So this is what they were. So now, when women jump out there and they say that patriarchy is there to oppress women, that's also manipulative, right? And what men don't fail to do is to ask them, well, break down what the men are oppressing you from doing. All right. And a lot of times when women talk, they'll say, well, men are oppressing us from getting jobs. Men are oppressing us from owning homes. Men are oppressing us from doing, the basic necessities things. Which logically, it's there's nothing wrong with a woman owning a home. But usually what's really now being what they really mean is to oppress. Women want to be free to engage into this stuff right here, allowing things that goes against those Abrahamic religions and goes against traditional masculinity. This is what it means. They mean they want to bring in the chaos, right? So a lot of times the Serafina virus, they'll say, "Oh, patriarchy is oppressing women. Oppressing you from what and doing what? What do you want to do that we're stopping you from doing?" And a lot of times it's to bring in chaos into the communities. We make spaces for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. Why? Why should straight black men accept that madness? All right, let's go here.
I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers.
Structuring might be of some value here, but how do you respond to those kinds of again loving criticisms?
I think that the criticism is helpful. I also think that it might. I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories.
Ideological theories. You know what I'm saying? No, white men, y'all gotta take the L for this, bro. Because y'all let this boy Karl Marx enter your shit. A weak white boy. And you got a lot of black men in the black culture, adopting Karl Marx ideology because the women tell them it's okay. This is why I push back on that statement that a woman raises no higher than its nation, or a nation doesn't raise no higher than its woman, because the men have to be there to check her ass. Now you have to ask yourself, why was Karl Marx against the traditional family? Well, in my opinion, my theory, traditional family, it creates structure and it creates hierarchy and it creates a class. It's the most successful. So now, if you have everybody, not creating that traditional family, not creating that you then you become the personification of what Karl Marx envisioned, where there's no class system, which makes no sense because even in nature, you will have two lions. One of those lions is going to be more dominant than the other lion. Both of them are bad motherfuckers and vicious, but one lion is going to be badder than the other lion. That's like one gorilla is going to be badder than the other gorilla. You see what I'm saying? So even in nature shows you that shit ain't equal and there's a hierarchy in a food chain, right? And he says it right here. The bourgeoisie family will vanish as a matter of course when it complements when complement vanish, and both will vanish with the vanishing of capital. Marx and Engels wrote, the bourgeoisie's clap trap about the family and education, about the hollow correlation of parents and child, becoming all the more disgusting. The more by action of modern industry, all the family ties among the proletarians are torn asunder, and the children transform into simple articles of commerce and instruments of labor. This is what these niggas believe, right? Because now, right, this is what happens, right? When you have a nuclear family, right? Uh, you create better capital, right? Because now when you have the father working, the mother at home nurturing the children, the father taking his wealth, passing it down to those children, the children then taking what the father passed down and then innovating it and evolving it to create more wealth. That creates, that's a perfect wealth structure, right? Then when you have the daughters now marrying into other families that have wealth, that creates class. See what I'm saying? That creates money. And it creates a capital society that you cannot avoid, right? So now, Karl Marx is acknowledging that the nuclear family is that. So this is what black women are looking into. And this is what black women are using to destroy black men. They're not using this to destroy black white men. They're using this to destroy black men, right? So add this to the stage. Let's go into something else, right? She infects the minds and culture with ideology disguised as love. She can be anywhere, she can be anyone. And like Smith, her influence spreads. Hasn't black women with Black Lives Matter and their influence been spreading throughout your black community since the 70s? With the Maya Angelou, because remember Maya Angelou, she was a Marxist. She preached, she talked against the the capitalist society, and the problem with that is because black culture was at the bottom. It was very easy to get black people to follow Marxism, right? But then if you had Marcus, because remember Marcus Garvey was a capitalist, and he preached using economic capital to liberate black people. So I don't know why black folks couldn't look at Marcus Garvey and say, okay, Marcus Garvey just learned to use capitalism to free themselves from oppression or whatever they was going through, right? This description paints a complex portrait of a figure who navigates identity and power dynamics in nuanced ways. By donning cultural symbols such as ankhs, head wraps, and natural hair, she aligns herself with a rich history of black empowerment and solidarity. While the Pan-African colors emphasize unity and collective strength, her pro-black rhetoric and reference to black men as kings suggests a commitment to uplifting her community. However, the text hints at an underlying tension. Her actions might inadvertently undermine traditional notions of masculinity. Her advocacy for Marxist, feminist, and progressive ideologies cloaked in the language of care and healing suggests a desire for social change and justice. If the narrative implies a paradox where her efforts might ultimately serve the interests of the dominant power structure, the white male elite, this portrayal invites contemplation on the complexities of identity. Now, notice white men haven't fallen completely to Marxism. They're still very patriarchal. Yet, over here in black culture, this virus that's inhibited into black women, they have raised your children to to be like this. This is why we have a what you call unspoken Negro contract. Where in that unspoken Negro contract, one of the tenets is that a black man cannot be of economic success. He has to be broke. He has to be poor. And the reason being is that once that black man is of economic success and he gets into a relationship with any type of woman, he creates that capitalist structure, which goes against black liberation, which is tainted or soaked in Marxism. So I'm saying this is why they have an issue with you black men dating outside your race. They want you to keep dating black women that have this virus because they know that black women that have this Serafina programming in them can destroy you and prevent you from reaching your patriarchal power. All right, let's go. The purpose of this archetype definition to give traditional-minded black men the language, tools, and discernment necessary to detect this character during dating, vetting, and community building. Now, I say avoid this person immediately. Avoid this type of chick immediately. See it, hear it, run away. One way to change the culture is to change the language. Shout out to the Angry Man. By giving this character a name, Serafina will allow men to call out. And really and truly, this is me giving the Angry Man's triple imposter theory life and characteristics, right? Protect themselves against emotional, spiritual, and cultural sabotage. This is not about hate. It is about hate, to be honest with you. I know I wrote that, but it is. This is about pattern recognition. Serafina is not defined by race, body type, or education level. She's defined by her mission to neutralize black male potential by weaponizing intimacy and ideology. Like a lot of black men, you got to be careful because white women can potentially have this virus. Black women can potentially have this virus. The only difference between Latin women, white women, and black women is that Latin women, more than white women, they're more hip to their patriarchal men. They understand the benefits of patriarchy. So do white women. So that's what helps them fight against that virus. You know what I'm saying? And really, truly, I would really say that black men are in better hands by dealing with a Maria or getting into a relationship with an Afro Latina, in my opinion. Right? They're the only one I think more qualified than black women to, handle a black man. Right? Core traits: linguistic camouflage. She speaks the language of the community fluently. What did that chick say? The chick I showed you earlier. What did she say? She said that she's very trained in Marxism and trained in the ideology, right? And theory, right? Weaponized softness. She uses femininity as a disguise for control. Selective submission. Pretends to submit only to redirect. Cultural familiarity. Embeds herself in the community, in community spaces. Isn't that what these type of black women do? Activism or spiritual circles. Emotional manipulation. Leverages past trauma and cultural guilt to extract control. Court control. Court and institutional privilege. Benefits from from legal systems that protect her even when she's in the wrong. Don't black women use the court system, and you'll take this woman will take you to court for child support, and she could be on crack cocaine dope, and the judge will still reward her with that kid and still put your black ass on child support. You could go to that judge and say, look at judge, this black woman has my child being sexually harassed by another dude. And the judge will still rule in her favor. CPS will still rule in her favor. The whole point is to destroy you and them children, black men. Go for traditional men to identify Serafina early before entanglement. Will Smith is dealing with a Serafina virus. And Will Smith is an old school traditional man, right? And you see what he's going through. To create new cultural language and awareness, to restore the natural order of leadership, love and legacy without infiltration. Remember, Serafina isn't loud. She's not obvious. She whispers in the dark. A snake with perfume. And she always says she's here to help. But her help is seduction, not salvation. Don't black women on these YouTube spaces grift, pretend like they're for black men, and they come to find out they're really not. Quote from Serafina. This is a quote. Oh no, my love, I would never hurt you. I only want to help you. You see what you've been too blind to notice. That power you think you have. It was never really yours. I'm just reminding you. Black women remind you that you don't have no power every day. And every time they throw that white man in your face, every time they throw how you not achieving, even though you are achieving. The statistics show that you are achieving, but they like to throw the system in your face. They like to throw how you're not getting work, you're not working, and you broke and you dusty all damn day. All right, let's go into this. Serafina Vinus, the guide for black men. All right. This is the breakdown. This is the breakdown in 5 phases. Stage 1, infiltration. Presents herself as loving, spiritual, pro-black, and virtuous. Public image. I'm just a good woman of God. Don't, ain't that what they say? Looking. Hold on, my bad. Looking for a real man. Gains trust by mirroring male values and ideals. We call that the chameleon. Angry Man calls that the triple imposter. Entanglement. Enters a relationship with a high value or symbolic black man. Public image. We're building something strong together. Hidden intent or effect emotionally binds him while assessing control and influence. Right? Subversion begins passive control tactics. Guilt, shame, gaslighting, withholding. Shout out to the angry man for the gaslighting word. Her image. I'm just trying to help him be a better man. Don't they try to help you be a better man by telling you about emotional intelligence and I forgot the other fucking word they like to use. Emotional intelligence and some other shit. Emotional regulation and some shit, right? Or they play like they're trying to help you, right? Weakens his masculine identity and decision making power, right? Because really, truly, when you look at emotional intelligence, you don't really use it as a way to help you. They use it as a way to take accountability off yourself and critique you, right? And a lot of times, if you critique men too much, especially with black men, it affects the decision making. Because as a man, you can't think about the wins, the losses, and the failures and the criticisms. You got to make a decision, and that can hinder your identity. You know what I'm saying? Extraction breaks the relationship, keeps child, social clout, and sympathy. I'm gonna show you a person that's doing that. A couple people doing that right now. I had to leave for my peace, protection, and healing. Don't black women make that excuse? Extract value while destroying his social legacy and manhood. Don't black women, Tory Lanez or Meg Thee Stallion or plenty of black women, don't they socially destroy your image while extracting child support and resources from you? And if you get up there and you say anything against that or defend yourself, it's ruled out as you're complaining, and you should be a man and take it. That's also part of the unspoken Negro contract. To be a stoic nigga while your woman disrespect you. Justification uses media, religion, and social narrative to demonize him. My bad. To demonize him and sanctify herself. Right? Doesn't that what black women get on Oprah to do? I'm a God-fearing woman. Uh, I'm sanctified, and I'm saved, and this man, he was too controlling or whatsoever. He was being abusive, immature, and toxic, unworthy of me. They never asked black women, so break that down. What do you mean by abusive? Qualify that. It shows the black man is isolated, discredited, or erased. Don't they tell you black men that you can't be a victim? Even if you have black men on here be programmed to that bullshit, to believe that a black man can't be a victim to a woman, right? Don't you get discredited all the time? That happened to the passport bros. Every time isn't that what's happening or what happened to the black manosphere, that they got discredited and viewed as misogynistic? All right. Let's continue. Cultural weapons Serafina uses. Fate language. God told me to let him go. Therapy speak. He's not emotionally safe for me. Feminist rhetoric. He couldn't handle a strong black woman. I can't. Yo, I'm a motherfucking genius. Public sympathy. Tears on talk shows, social media, and something. Wasn't that the whole 80s and the 90s? Legal tools, custody control, child support, and protective orders. Didn't Meg Thee Stallion pull out a restraining order on Tory Lanez, even though that nigga is still in jail? Countermeasures for black men. Discernment over parents. Watch patterns, not proclamations. So, in other words, don't listen to what she says, watch what she does. Never surrender your frame. Emotional and legal leadership must be maintained. Vet for alignment, not aesthetics. Loyalty, family values, and logic over looks and church attendance. A lot of women just attend church to attend church and then go right back to being a hoe or 304 or whatsoever. Document everything, especially when children are involved. Brothers, videotape, which a lot of you brothers are doing good jobs at, doing good works at, right? Speak with your brothers. Build a circle of masculine accountability and wisdom, which is what the Black Manosphere's purpose was. Shout out to the Angry Man again. But black men, y'all fucked that up, bro. Real talk. The Serafina virus. You know what? How the Black Manosphere got fucked up? Y'all let them Serafina virus bitches in there. Just like clicking on a porn website, knowing that you don't have any what you call that? I forgot, Norton. You click on the site and a whole bunch of viruses just shut your PC down. That's exactly what happened. The Serafina virus and modern culture parasites, a psychological, emotional, social-minded virus where certain women, often cloaked in pro-black, spiritual, or woke language, master their contempt for black men with surface level affection. They exploit a black man's value or image, that's Black Lives Matter, present themselves as supportive partners, but undermine leadership or masculine order, which black women have been doing. Use progressive or Christian fronts to conceal manipulation, entitlement, or hostility. Are protected by cultural firewall. Other women who know better but stay silent or cheer it on. This is why, like, you can't really trust black women in black culture, even the good ones. This is DDG, so I'm using DDG as an example. Why black men like DDG get caught up? Culture conditioning. From a young age, black men are told to protect the black woman no matter what, even when she's weaponizing that protection against him. Also part of the unspoken nigga contract. False narratives. The community often glorifies certain women based on looks, industry status, or popularity, but not character or values. Don't they do that with Sexy Red and Just Hilarious and Ice Spice and Meg Thee Stallion? No other game. All the black men failed to warn the younger ones about women who weaponize femininity, but reject accountability and submission. Boomer man, you failed, bro. You train black men to be subservient to black women. That's what you did. I don't know when y'all gonna take accountability for that. Lack of labels. The Serafina virus gives men language and clarity without it. Without it, men fall into traps because they don't have a mental map for what they're dealing with. What awareness would have done for DDG? He would have seen the signs early. The performative divine feminine image, the divine feminine shit, image with a rebellious, passive, aggressive undercurrent. He would have asked hard questions about loyalty, femininity, submission, and family structure before getting involved. He wouldn't have confused surface level softness, voice, beauty, curves with actual feminine cooperation. He would have had framework to disqualify a woman who plays the emotional manipulation game. DDG, moving forward, brother. Let me put my face up here. Brother, moving forward, like you gotta do a lot better with vetting women, bro. Because now the worst part about it is now you have a child with this woman, so that's her weapon she can use against you, and she got the voice of the crowd. So be mindful, bro. Dangerous control shield. Even when black women know someone like Chloe Bailey is wrong, they still protect her by default. Why? Trial bias, a code that says we don't check our own publicly, even if she's wrong. Mind you, all black women fall under this, even the pick-me's. Fear of patriarchal accountability. Checking her would validate masculine order, which some women resist. All black women resisted at this point. Image protection. And until black women separate themselves from the ones who resisted, all of you are involved. Image protection. To admit Chloe is wrong is to threaten the illusion that all black women are divine victims, never preparation. Preparators. Oh, shit, I can't even say that word. But divine victims, divine feminine, divine victims, right? Because what black women are always using God and shit. The new code for black men. Stop getting memorized by beauty status or queen energy talk. Like, I never liked that queen energy talk because there's no queen without the king. A queen is a woman that does not become a queen until the king says you qualify to enter my castle. Period. Vet her spiritually plus character, not her words or IG captions. A lot of black women on these Instagram be lying to y'all with these IG posts and shit. Learn the Serafina traits: passive aggressive, covertly rebellious, anti-submission, loyal only when convenient. Black women don't pick and choose when they want to be loyal. Be willing to walk away early if your masculine order is being quietly undermined. Like, if DDG knew these things, he wouldn't be in a situation with Chloe Bailey. Right? I have some other videos I'm gonna present. Share this tab. StreamYard. Add the stage. That. Add this to stage. All right, let's go here.
Date whomever you. So y'all know it's back.
What did I tell you about the Serafina virus? They got the afro, the pro-black this, and the pro-black that, and blah, 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 blah. Well, check this out.
Not fixing a damn thing. And in the process, she's giving black men a platform to say stuff like this.
I don't date black women now because of past experiences. They like to place that strong personality on you. And sometimes you just kind of, like, stay in a woman's place.
Listen, date whomever you want for whatever.
Mind you, their brother said something valid. Let's go back to what he said.
You just kind of, like, they like to place that strong personality on you. And sometimes you just kind of, like.
Black women like to be dominant over black men. And black women have an issue when black men say, I don't want to tolerate that.
Stay in a woman's place.
Listen, date whomever you want for whatever reason you want. But the fact that black men who choose not to date black women feel the need to constantly make it known is an issue. Look, preferences are fine. Everything ain't for everybody, and I embrace that. But if your preferences lead you to rule out an entire race of women, to denigrate the race that you belong to, something is wrong with you. Straight up. But the worst thing is that damage never gets explored. The conversation always devolves into a talk about black women's deficiencies.
Do black women think we fucking stupid or something? Hold on. This shit making me mad. Hold on. Let me see. Like, I wish I could go back in time and find those videos of. No, I'm not. Let me hold on. Watch this. When white men love black women on TV. With Olivia and Fitz, let me see if this is on StreamYard. Yeah, it's on StreamYard. All right, cool. With Olivia and Fitz and Annalise and Sam, it has been noted that there is a mainstream pop culture revolution. I forgot about, what's that fucking show? I forgot that damn show. What the white man was the president, and I forgot her name. I forgot that shit. Black women love that fucking show. But let's read it. Black women, white men in relationships with black women, has post-racial dating finally tricked down to black women? Are younger people less hung up on race, are more accepting of interracial couples in media? Has Powerhouse Shonda Rhimes single-handedly flipped the script on the natural superiority of white women. Oh shit! What did Angry Man told y'all? Like, there's a war between Keisha and Becky. I started this whole thing, and it becomes a thing because I wonder just how unique is the moment of white men and black women romantic pairings on television. This is a whole article letting it be known the relationship between. Dude, I'm not reading this whole shit, but let me see this. Wow, when white men love black women on TV, bro. Fuck it. There's a whole article written on this. Look at the title. All right. See this? Nah, that's for a different. That's not the clip.
We have a choir over here.
Look at this.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it probably would have made it more difficult for our relationship to work out if Levon had been darker, as far as my family was concerned, because they were, much more accepting of her because she was lighter, and I'm sure it would have been more of a problem if she was darker.
Now, did you tell them right away that you were dating a black woman, or did you?
No, I didn't.
You didn't.
Yeah.
The brothers and sisters here aren't happy about that. But
Well, I didn't
This is 1987, people.
really
Look at
think,
the title.
it was an issue that
Well, we
needed to be-
discussed this and we decided that we didn't need my
No, if a black man was dating a light skinned chick, black chick, they would call us colorist. But it's quite okay if white men do it.
family's approval.
Like, anytime a black dude is dating a light skinned chick, we're colorists, we're every psychological name they can find in the book. Except if a white man is doing it. Right.
Approval for us to marry, and we didn't need his family's approval for us to marry. And it was not an issue for us, and so we weren't going to sit down and ask permission. And so we decided if it did come up, we would respond to it.
This,
well, how would it
This
ever
is a
come
black
up?
chick?
I mean,
Well,
if
it
we
came
had
up.
this
I
show
couldn't
were about
tell.
a pretty. What?
It came up.
Oh, when did it come up?
Well, there was a remark made by Doug's grandfather at one point.
What did he say?
It was a negative comment about
What was the comment?
I think
something about nigger blood, and so we had to get him straight.
Yeah, I was
about
triggered when she said that
not
shit.
using those kinds of words and terms around me.
Did he at that point know that you were a black woman?
He knew afterwards.
I'll bet he did. I'll bet he hurt for weeks. And
Oh, shit.
Diana Ross, take a look, if you will, at
Something
some of
going
these
on a long
pictures. We
time.
have pictures of some mixed couples with white men and black women. You might recognize some of these people and be somewhat surprised that Whoopi Goldberg, I'm sure you probably know this, is married to a white man, David Pleasant, is it? And Robert De Niro, this is his wife,
Woo! Look at
girlfriend,
that.
Tonky Smith. Diana Ross, of course, is married to a black man. This is just a couple you may not recognize, the fabulous Edgar Bronfman Jr. and his wife Sherry, just a pretty couple.
Mhm.
And
Money.
money, and Diana Ross and her husband, and then of course there's Diane Carroll and Vic Damone, just married. So there's some pretty,
Alfred Woodard.
and others too.
Yes, quite a few others.
How did you find, very specifically now, because some of the black men in the audience were taking offense to the idea that you're suggesting that in general, as far as you're concerned, white men treated you better, knew what to do, knew how to order in restaurants, knew how to be more polite. Be specific, because I want some of these black men want to take issue with you later.
Specifically, there was a difference. Like I said before, the posturing and the places that I wanted to go to, different nightclubs,
But forget where you went and the music that you listened to. That's all a matter of taste. I'm
Basically, the white man was being a whole sucker. Basically, why I say that white man was being a sucker is because he was not leading in that situation, and this is a tactic that black women played on black men, right? Using white dudes, right? You're so as a man, you're supposed to lead, so you're supposed to take that woman where you want to go, right? If she wants you, she has to earn you taking her where she wants to go, but she has to first follow your lead first. That's how that's supposed to go. So anytime when these black women are saying, "Well, this white man took me where I want to go," he was being a sucker, and he's trying to get you black men to be suckers.
talking specifically about things that made you say, you know, those guys are a lot nicer than the black guys are.
That's a lot of the social graces, I think,
Like what?
conversation wise. I had a lot of black guys that didn't want to talk about politics or things that were going on in the world. They wanted to talk about drugs or who, you know, what other women they had before, and just some general things that I really wasn't that interested in to talk to them
See the lies?
about.
Did they treat you any differently in terms of being polite or sociable, or were they?
If you go back to the video on Facebook, I was just looking at. Just go here.
Agencies. That's ridiculous. And we're not doing that anymore. No. We're done. Why not talk about the fact that these men aren't even halfway desirable? Okay, so that's rude. And also not the point. The point is that it's normalized to disparage black women. It's socially accepted to say whatever you want about us, and then we're put in a position to defend ourselves like that stuff is legitimate. And honestly, this
When y'all black women went on these TV shows saying that black men talk about drugs, black men are deadbeat dads, we couldn't even defend ourselves because there was no platform that have black men up there being able to actually defend those lies that y'all was saying or push back on any of those lies. It wasn't until Angry Man or the Black Manosphere or Tommy Sotomayor came out and pushed back on y'all. You feel me?
is not even exclusive to black men who choose to date out, because there are plenty of black men who date black women who really don't like us that much. What's wild is that by the magic of misogynoir, traits that in anyone else.
Yo, these black women think we be dumb. This is what I'm saying about the Serafina virus. She thinks you're stupid. That videos, what's this video? Videos like this did not exist in
To me, the white woman
1987.
was more gentle to me and more concerned about how I felt about things, about about how things were with me personally, like with my job, or not so much self-centered on himself as involved the two of us.
So a black man is not supposed to talk about himself. And if a black man, like these black women move the goalposts. If a black man was interested in her and was talking about her job and these things and whatever support, they would say that nigga is lame or he's a square. Mind you, this is a dark skinned chick, by the way. I'm just gonna point that out. Hold on. There was something else here. No, not that. Let me share this. Pro black. They never make this effort for brothers right here. All that. All that. Look at that. Whole click, Team Swerve. Look at that. Got this nigga braiding your hair. Mix, baby. Look at that. Look at that. They're letting it be known, right? Oh, okay. We gonna look at this. Yeah. What the hell you got this nigga doing? Brothers, if you were doing this, black woman clown you and tell you that you're feminine if you were doing this right here. This is a hard face bitch. Hold on. If this was a black brother, they would say you were on drugs, you were a thug, and all that other shit. Right? No, I ain't mad at black women for getting into relationships with white dudes if that's what you want to do. Because objectively speaking on it, in my opinion, I think white men are the only ones that could tame black women at this point. That's something from slavery. So if that's what make black women happy, let them do it. My issue is now when you try to prevent black men from making themselves happy. You feel me? Because a black man would do very good with a Becky and even a lot more better with a Maria, in my opinion. Mm, damn. Mm, mm, mm. Team Swerve. Swerve. Swerve to the world. Look at this. Swerve. Swirl, swirl. Swirly, swirl, swirl. Swirly, swirl, swirl. Damn. Swirly, swirl, swirl. Swirling life. Swirl life. Look at that. Swirl. Well, let's get off of that shit right there. Mm-mm-mm. Uh, And Jamaican and Haitian men, black men, stop letting black women use you to go against your black American brother, bro. Like, y'all gotta stop that bullshit. Dude, let me hold on. Let me go. Let me stop sharing this and go back over here. Um, as a Jamaican brother myself, stop letting these women use. Stop letting these women use black American women use us to go against black American men. Vice versa. Stop that bullshit. And Jamaican men, you fucking know better. Some of y'all want to slap y'all in the fucking face. Anyway, um, enough of that shit. Holy shit! Hold on, let me share this. Let me share this. Let me share this. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Share this. Share. We could be Simone. Oh, oh, this is when we love white man. Let me see this. Mother- Damn. Damn. Ma'am, are you talking about dating versus a relationship or marriage? No, no, it's a ship. This is a Serafina virus up here too. Don't get it twisted. What's wrong with those two? What's wrong with him texting you good morning? What's going on, beautiful? She was hurt. Somebody hurt her. Ma'am, that's him seeing if you're going to showcase your feminine qualities. When Kevin Samuel said, "What do you bring to the table?" or I forgot the other brother's name, but the angry man explained what it meant. When black men are saying, "What do you bring to the table?" they're asking what feminine qualities, what traditional feminine qualities do you bring to the table? So if that black man is asking, what you cooking? What are you cooking? Are you gonna cook something? Are you cooking? Are you a woman, a wife that's gonna showcase wifely duties? Because clearly you're asking him to take you out like he's your husband. Like these black women expect black men to do this shit for them when they're not into a relationship and they're not married. They expect black men to do this shit during the dating process. And if you're a white dude doing this shit during the dating process, you're a fucking simp, a sucker, and a trick. Because you're not doing that to white women or for white women. Bitch, why would a black man do something for you and you're not his wife or girlfriend? What lie? What are you getting these motherfucking lies? Bitch, if you're not cooking and cleaning, that white man not fucking with you. I don't know where y'all get that bullshit from, bro. Like again, that's another way to bait black men into being more of a sucker. So that ain't what the fuck she the nigga asked you, and you knew what the fuck. Mm. I agree with this nigga right here. I said it earlier. Y'all are not motherfucking discreet. Man, I think Medium Man broke that. Let me before I get into the statistic, let me break that down, right? If culturally black men are shamed for dating white women, if he gets into a relationship with a white woman, of course he's going to divorce her because it's going against the programming of how he's been socially conditioned. All right. Second, if white women are also culturally shamed you got to remember this country has shamed black men and white women for marrying each other. So if you have a culture of that happening, it's not going to be very easy for either one of those two to get into a relationship with each other. And I know where that stat came from. Media Man broke it down. And this guy said, "Is this racial? It's culture. I guarantee those black women who are married to white men don't act like Cardi B." And he's correct, right? White black women, when they get to a relationship with white dudes, they do not cut up like the way they do with black men. But now, if you're talking about the dynamic between black men and white women, if in this country culturally, especially from the 80s and the 90s, white women are programmed to not deal with black men because we're a certain way this and a certain way that, and black men are trained to stay away from white women. And if you married to a white woman, you're a seller or a coon or Uncle Tom. That programming is going to hit you when you're in a situation, a relationship, right? Now, when you're talking about white women getting into a relationship with black men, right? One can argue that the reason why those fail when it comes from the position of the white woman is because of how black men have been treated by black women. If white women are looking at black men and saying, "Oh shit, they're getting disrespected. They're easily being disrespected by black women. They're controllable by black women, and those white women can't run that feminist shit over there with white dudes. They're gonna try to run that shit on black men. Then when they try to go married to a black man, and they find out, okay, these niggas is just as patriarchal or masculine as the white dudes. I can't run that game over here. Then I'm gonna divorce him. Second, you see white women all over TikTok talking about how they divorced their damn man. Right? So hold on. Let me go look up Chat GBT right quick. Put it in chat. Chat GBT. I have a question. There was a stat saying that white women are more likely to divorce black men in a relationship, right? But there was some discrepancy of where that stat came from. They were saying that stat came from the early 2000s or 2002. And the thing about 2002, they collected that data from the 1990s, where there was still a lot of racial tension, and black men were under the pro-black banner, where if they did date a white woman, they were deemed a seller or Uncle Tom or a coon. Now, based upon the facts, data, and research and objectivity, can you come back to me with any truth to that? So let's share this. Yes, there's empirical evidence indicating interracial marriages between white women and black men have historically exhibited higher divorce rates compared to some race marriages. This trend was notably observed in studies utilizing data from 1995 and 2002. A study published in Family Relations analyzed data from 2002, NSFG, and found that marriages between white women and black men were more prone to divorce than white marriages. Specifically, these interracial marriages were twice as likely to end in divorce compared to white marriages. However, when adjusting for background factors such as age, marriage, and educational level, the difference in divorce rates between black male, white female marriages, and white marriages diminished in some cases. The same study also noted that marriages involving white husband, black wife were substantially less likely to end in divorce, when white marriages with former pairing divorce rate being 44% less than the latter. Contextual consideration. It is important to recognize that these studies are based on data collected in the 1990s and early 2000s, a period when interracial marriages, particularly between black men and white women, faced significant societal scrutiny and stigma. Cultural pressures, including criticism from within the black community labeling such relationships as betrayals, may have contributed to the stress experienced by these couples. Example would be a black man walking in a barbershop with a white woman. That would be the ultimate sin, even to this day. Additionally, factors such as economic disparities, educational differences, and lack of familiar support. Fa- what's that? I guess that's family support have been identified as contributing to higher divorce rates in certain interracial marriages. For instance, economic hardship often faced by black spouses even contribute to marital strain. Moreover, white women married to a black man have reported experiencing racial discrimination incidents more frequently, which can place additional stress on the marriage. Over the past decades, societal attitudes towards interracial marriages have become more accepting. According to the Pew Research Center, the share of newlyweds married to someone of a different race or ethnic increased from 3% in 1967 to 17% in 2015. This growing acceptance may contribute to greater stability in interracial marriages formed in more recent years. While historical data indicates higher divorce rates among certain interracial pairings, including white women and black men, it's essential to consider the broader societal context involving attitudes that influence these dynamics. So, hold on. Oh, I got some other clips for y'all. So, this bitch right here, she don't know what the fuck she talking about. See? I just broke down to you where they got that stat from, and I broke down to you why that what was the issue within that stat. But these black women are using this to say white men prefer black women. Let's get this right. Black women, you've always preferred white dudes. They had access to you during slavery. Uh, you were fighting to get married to the white man and get away from the black man with that. What was that case? Virginia versus Loving case. So of course it's going to be easier for you to stay with a black man because now that we know a little bit more about dating, when a woman likes and loves a man, she's going to do whatever it takes to be in that relationship with that man. But with black men are not black women's first choice. You have never been their first choice. They don't like you, really, really and truly. And really and truly, that Serafina virus is just to destroy black patriarchy, but at the same time submit to white patriarchy. So you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. They don't bring their Serafina virus over there to white dudes. They just bring it to you brothers. And your brothers are tricked to accepting it, believing that your traditional masculine leadership can change all that shit, which you can't. Don't Paul Wall? Isn't Paul Wall? Wouldn't Paul Wall be a Pookie? You hear white women complain about these white men? They keep dating these black bitches. You don't hear that. Mhm. Robert De Niro.
Black women. Number 5, Paul Wall.
I
Paul
was
Wall is an
like,
American actor and rapper. He got married to his wife, Crystal, in October 2005, and they have 2 children. Family life is an important part of his personal life. Number 4, Dirk Nowitzki.
right. I keep forgetting not to share this shit. But let's look at. Look over here. Share this shit.
That's the question being asked by an author of a new book. Is marriage for white people how the African-American marriage decline affects everyone? It's got a lot of people talking right now. Stanford law professor Ralph Richard Banks says it's time for Black women to, this is a quote, give up the good fight on marrying a Black man. Here he is.
The way I think of that.
This is mind you, the Serafina virus can affect dudes too. Right?
That is that women have been asked to carry a great load.
What load, nigga?
Black women shoulder a lot of the burden, in short, of Black men's struggles. And I am
what are you talking about? Did Black women shoulder the load during the 1990s with NAFTA and Joe Biden's crime bill? I think not. What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
asking women to put the burden down. Many
Yes.
women think that they're attracted to
Yes, please leave Black men alone, put the burden down, and go about your business. I
Black
agree.
men. They are attracted to Black men, but attraction itself is complicated. And one of the things that I discovered in the course of writing this book is that there's a whole host of fears and desires and anxieties that animate Black women's attraction to Black men.
Okay, Banks recently wrote an article in the Wall Street Journal and said that 70% of Black women aren't married. That's roughly true. Okay, so is it time for single, educated, and working Black women to just forget the notion of marrying a Black man and look outside their...
Black women don't get it. When you're saying you're single and educated, that's not what Black men are looking for. That's why 70% of you are not fucking married. This is a Serafina virus too, right here, by the way.
Race. A new Gallup poll shows more and more people are receptive to the idea of interracial marriage. In 1968, the numbers were quite low for whites approving of interracial marriage. This is a Gallup poll from USA Today, but today those numbers skyrocketed for both Blacks and whites. So does the author have a point? Is the Black marriage nearly obsolete?
This was 13 years ago. 13 minus 2025. That's what, 2012?
Is the idea just for white people? Have a Black couple here who says, hello, I'm right here. Joining us more to talk about this is Lamar and Ronnie Tyler, bloggers for Black and Married with Kids. All right, Tyler, so I guess my first question is, what is your reaction to what you have just heard? A lot of people have been talking about this.
I just think the book is dangerous and it's sending a dangerous message.
Dangerous?
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely think it is just perpetuating.
Shout out to this couple right here, bro. Like you gotta say, I gotta say this, that there were a lot of Black couples that were still trying to keep up with the Black community and keep it going. It's just unfortunately this type of couple is not looked at or even appreciated or looked at as an example, especially if this brother is the head of that culture. Head of his household.
Stereotypes that are out there. And now is the time for Black people to come together and to work together, not to look outside of our community. But
what was crazy is that she was the first to talk. He's not sitting where she's sitting. But he's sitting behind her. He's not sitting in front. How masculinity is supposed to work is the man is supposed to sit in front, and he's supposed to be the one doing the most of the talking because he's the man. That's the head of your house. But he's sitting in the back. You see what I'm saying?
For the answers.
Dangerous, how so? And I want you to answer this because he seems to be putting a lot of negativity out there on Black men.
Sure. Well, I think what he's done is created a perfect mechanism to sell books.
I may have misspoke.
But not so much to help African-American women.
All right.
And I think, he's portraying this like this is some type of help tool for them, but not at all. I think anytime when you say that one entire group of people, specifically based on race, is bad and another group is good, then it doesn't make any sense at all. It's not helping anybody. Instead, the conversation should be, if there are problems in the African American community, how can we uplift the community? What can we do to show them that marriage is positive, to show them that parenting is positive and where it's at, instead of making notions
Yo, look how she looking at her man. I like
basically
that.
just get you on TV in the media all the time and allow you to sell books.
Well, because
bro, yo, shout out to this brother, bro. I hope y'all still married. I hope y'all have a bunch of kids. I hope y'all going strong with it. But yo, what happened to this black man, this version of a black man right here? What happened to him? This is just 13 years ago. 2025 minus 13. Right? I want to say maybe that's like what? 2012, 2009, somewhere like that.
Some of the numbers that he put out there are true. A white woman is twice as likely to get married as a black woman. Some of what he is saying is true, is what you take exception to, what you say are solutions that aren't actually solutions. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Solutions that are not actually solutions. So if it's true, let's get down to why it's true and bring forth real solutions for the black community.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think, interracial dating is fine. I think who you fall in love with is who you fall in love with. But again, when you say this group of people in this particular instance, which is black men, are bad and you shouldn't be with them. And I think the craziest thing about all of this is the fact
so he's what the black culture will be called a lame. So the reason why black culture is not going to follow him or that woman is because she's probably a pick-me. She gave him 4 kids, and he's the head of his house. So the black culture is not going to look to these two couples as the blueprint. But
he's married to a black woman. So what if she took his own advice? They wouldn't be married now.
So what you're saying is, okay, let me make sure I'm clear. He's saying, look outside of your race because there's a problem with your race, as opposed to just be with whoever you choose to be with, regardless of what their race is. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's this 2-part thing. Part of it is that, and part of it is this thing about the black man being so bad, just perpetuating these continual stereotypes that we've had now for generations and generations. And the problem becomes when you have people in communities that don't see marriage every day, that don't see those positive images of marriage portrayed, they start to believe things like this. When they see books and they see movies and they see different things, something that marriage is for white people, they start to actually get that into their conscious, and then that passes down from generation to generation.
Because there are plenty of positive images of black marriages out there. I mean, we've got the Obamas. I mean, there's Will and Jada. If you don't believe all that.
No, those 2 marriages did not age well at all. But for that time, at that moment, we get what she's saying.
Tabloid mess is out there. Right. An interracial couple. There's Iman and David Oye. There's lots of positive images out there if you choose to see them.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we're doing with our website, trying to actually build upon those positive images. Because if you don't see it, then maybe you don't think it's possible to be that. And so it's very important to have those images.
Yeah, and it's just an example. We do documentaries. In our second documentary, You Saved Me, 8 couples, African-American couples from newlywed over 50 years. We premiered it in DC, sold out over 540 seats in advance of the screening. They had to put up folding chairs down the aisle, I like to say, like church on Easter Sunday.
Shout out to this couple right here, all right? Bro, what happened to them? This is just 13 years ago, bro. Let's go here.
Black men suck. They're bad. They cheat.
What's your favorite thing about black men?
Nothing. Black men suck. They're bad. They cheat. They don't care. I'm with the white boys.
What's your favorite thing about black men?
Nothing.
Why say that?
I don't like black men. Not very many meet my standards.
What's your favorite thing about black men?
Nothing. They're just terrible.
Even when you just said that, because I'm thinking about the guest that we just had, she admitted that, her father wasn't a productive father, which I guess justify why she is allowed to say negative things about black men. It's okay for black women to say stuff like that. Like, they will critique a lot.
So why can't black men date outside his race or not want to date black women or not like black women because his mother was unproductive? Because remember the logic with black men and why you shouldn't be dating outside your race or talk bad about black women is because your mother's black. right? But black women can use the excuse that their father wasn't there or unproductive, so it gives them the carte blanche to talk bad about black men.
A lot of black men sometimes with, oh, you must hate your mother. Like we get that a lot. You must hate your
Well,
mother.
they said it to me. I must hate my mom.
Yeah,
I'm
like
holding black women accountable.
when black women have these negative thoughts about black men, nobody says you must hate your father. And it's clearly true.
Yeah.
That one experience can cause you to have a whole hatred towards men. And for some reason that's valid. But when a black man is not allowed to have that same experience with his mom.
Mm-hmm. No. Go back over here, bro. Stop sharing this. Go back over here. Getting tired. Anyway, in conclusion, hold on. One more. Hold on.
Like, so you really think this not your baby? And if you have to, even threaten them. Say if we gotta do that, y'all boyfriend and y'all get pregnant, why do y'all telling y'all so? Just let your boyfriend be the baby daddy. Just let it be what it is. You don't have to tell him nothing. And when he get to question you, gaslight him. Like, so you really think this not your baby? And if you have to, even threaten him. Say if we gotta do that DNA test, my baby not getting your last name. Dudes love for their kids have their last name. Like they take so much pride in it. They act like it's the most important thing in the world. But telling on yourself is a no. And I know some people are like, oh well, your child deserves to know who their biological parent is. Do what's best for your child. Some people don't.
And black men, do what's best for you. I'm gonna make a video tomorrow. Telling black men you deserve a lot better than this bullshit right here. Do what's best for you. Stop dealing like you cannot save this, change this, correct this. This is the virus I'm talking about with Serafina. She's on TikTok. At least some of the damn women in this chat are holding her accountable to something. But bro, look at the damn views in the place. Shares. It's done. You can't do nothing with this. Like black men, y'all got to love yourself. Like hold on, let me play one more thing from the Angry Man, bro. He said this, and I had chills.
And I know it because I've. You need to save yourself. Then what? And let your ass be a pillar of salt. How about it? That's what our responsibility is. Measure out of causing pain to solve the damn problem. Now, and what did she say?
Angry Man, I hope you don't mind me reviewing your video. Shout out to you, OG.
Oh, that's cute. What you just said is cute. But let's get back to blaming the men.
Don't you die. Waking up my cat.
You as a man.
Yes.
Okay, without blaming a woman, because
Yes.
you started on that track, and I said,
No, I didn't. I didn't blame you for anything.
Don't bring up a woman at all.
No.
What are you?
Okay. Well, no. No. I got it. I got it. Again. This is ridiculous. Just sit.
No.
Could I please? But could I please? Okay.
Shout out to Uncle Jeff, bro. Shout out to Uncle Jeff.
I handled and I apologize. We'll treat this like court. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, Fox, Madame Noir, Essence, and Oprah are all right about us. It's our fault, and we had no idea before today. We were never held accountable before today. There've never been any television shows about it. There's never been any news.
And Jeff is Uncle Jeff. He set her up into a trap, but like that shit don't work. Like you agreeing with what she says to see where if she hold herself accountable. It's that shit is tiring and it never works, bro.
News articles about it. There's never been any radio shows about it. There's never been any videos about it. There's never been any television series about it. None of that. Until today, the black man has never been, by society or by the media, called onto carpet for his demographic shit specifically, and I take blame for all of it. Does that answer your question?
So, and you take accountability. What is
Now I'm going to ask you to answer my question. Does that answer it? Yes or no?
No.
Of course it doesn't.
What?
Come on, bro. Yes or no? Does it answer your question?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. No, somehow it left something out, and that's what she's going to explain to us here.
Go ahead, angry man. You're chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Tap out.
No,
Go ahead,
he has a lot to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, how courteous of you.
She's not. First of all, the thing about it, you can take accountability, responsibility as a black man all day long. It ain't gonna change it.
Which black men have been doing that for the past almost damn near a century, and nothing has changed. Because, like I told you, the Serafina virus has like this boomer. I don't know if this chick is a boomer Gen X bitch, but they're the start of this virus, bro.
It ain't gonna change shit. You can take accountability. You can say it's your fault. You can even do everything in your power as a black man to try to fix the problems of the community. It is not gonna fix anything. You can raise a nation no higher than its women. Point blank, period. Because women are the first teachers. They are the ones that pass down the legacy. So if the women ain't shit, the community ain't gonna be shit. It ain't got shit.
Whew. I got some pushback with Angry Man for that one. Not with Angry Man per se, but with that line. Because then it takes away from the influence of black men and the power that black men have in his leadership, and it puts the power into the woman's hand. And the reason being is because now, when it comes to black women, because they're the first teachers of their children, they got to teach the children what the men program to teach. But then the women can now choose to rebel against those men and teach those children anything outside of what the man's teaching is. And the only thing that a man can do in this day and age, in this timeline, is to walk away and let that village burn and die on herself. And I think that's why black men progression have stunted, because during the 60s, black men trying to be pro-black and trying to fix the problems of his community and fix the women, he neglected himself and where he wanted to go. And we're trying to fix black women who didn't want to be fixed, who chose not to be fixed. It strained black men. And because black men, we were stuck under a social programming to only date and deal with black women, it's like we kept trying to get in relationships with them and then getting them pregnant, and then they weaponized those children against the brothers. But that's my whole pushback with that whole nation doesn't raise no higher than the woman, because the women follow where the men go. But like I said, women can rebel against the men and then teach their children any fucking thing. This is why we spoke about Marxism earlier, and with Black Lives Matter and all that other shit. So it's
shit to do with the men. Okay.
So what is the men's role in the community?
The main reason right now that
The man's role in the community is not going to matter if the fucking women don't submit or follow, or they're using things to usurp that man's role.
You have these
And
problems
then you're
that you have.
teaching the next generation of men not to be men. So how the fuck? What does it matter the man's role if the women are not going to do their role and follow the man?
Is because since time immemorial, the black man has been blamed for everything under the damn sun. He's been blamed so much. You just recently, in the last 10, 15 years, had black men that was brave enough to actually say, no, we need to look at what the women are doing. That's recently. But for over 70 years,
come on,
it's been black men this, black men that. In fact, black.
And like, what that does, it boxes black men. It's like black men being Superman, or black men being it's like black men in this shark cage in the middle of the ocean, in the shark cage, where circling around him great white sharks, and the sharks are morality and accountability and blame. And he does, and he has that. And mind you, there's an option to get away. There's a boat up there. There's a gun he can use to get himself out of that situation. But because of blame and constant critique and check, and he cannot tap into his decisive nature as a man because he's afraid of being blamed for what may or may not be right thing to do based upon what the women in society say. That's the trap that Superman fall into. Superman cannot cut loose and tap into that Kryptonian battle mode because he got to be careful how he fight in I forgot the name of the place he protects. The only time Superman can actually get to cut loose is if he's away from the planet, if he's away from Earth, if he's not in the city, he's in space fighting. Then he can cut loose. Then he can punch a black hole in your face. He can go all out. And that's a perfect analogy for black men. You gotta get away from black culture and black community and black women in order for you to truly be a man and have autonomy with yourself and cut loose the way you're supposed to be cut loose and conquer and dominate. You gotta get away from black culture. You gotta get away from these black women. If you stay here, you're gonna die.
Men have been critiqued so much. That's the main reason why they're ineffective today. It's because they tiptoeing around these damn women so terrified they gonna be critiqued. That's the main reason why that black man had no problem putting on a tuxedo and going over there to his son dressed up like a woman, because he didn't want to be critiqued by a black woman.
Cool.
And that's not his problem.
The problem is not the men. But and here's the reason why you don't understand this.
Okay.
You don't understand this because you don't know the difference between someone being responsible for something and someone being at fault for something. Those are two different things. So when you say, well, the man, y'all always say y'all the man, y'all always say y'all the head. We may be responsible because we're the head, but we're not at fault. There's a difference. There's a huge difference. It's just like...
Okay, can I ask a question then?
She didn't give a fuck.
To break that down.
But yeah.
And I don't think anybody has ever said that.
No.
Noticed that.
No, nobody's ever said that, right? I've noticed it a little bit, but I didn't really go into depth of it like the way Angry Man did, right? Yes, a black man, the heads of the household, is the king of his castle. Is he the head of the village? Is he the village chief? Is he the president? Yes. Is he the general of the military? Yes. Is he responsible? Yes. But you cannot keep blaming the general or the president of the nation for where the people of that nation keep fucking up. Donald Trump, for example, he can want to take the nation in one direction, but you got people within the nation siding with China. You got people within the nation in his own Republican cabinet the first time he ran that's going against his instructions. Vance, I forgot his name. Was it J.D. Vance? That was his vice president back in the first time he ran, his first term as president with Donald Trump. I believe Donald Trump gave him a direction or an instruction, and J.D. Vance turned on him. You can't keep blaming the village chief if he keep telling y'all, yo, don't go drink from the poison water, and yet keep going to go drink from the poison water. You keep not following his instructions.
Or pointed that out. I may be the first person that has pointed this out. The reason why black men are ineffective today is because we have been criticized for over 70 years. We have been criticized so much that most black men try their best not to do anything that is going to cause them to be critiqued.
Mm-hmm.
This is why they are ineffective at raising their children properly. This is why they are ineffective at maintaining a household. This is why they are ineffective at maintaining a relationship and a marriage with a woman, because you're walking on eggshells in every aspect of your life. You cannot be an effective man if you are worried about what everybody thinks as it pertains to the actions that you engage in.
Which is, like I said, Superman's biggest problem. See, Batman, he can cut loose because Batman is a normal human being. Right? Superman, however, the villain is always going to have the upper hand on Superman because Superman is worried about him using his heat vision, it missing the villain and hitting the civilian. But you take Superman, you put him in space to go fight that villain, he gonna punch a black hole into your chest, literally. Go review the comics where Superman is in an area or dimension where he could go full fucking blast, or he goes Kryptonian berserker mode. Shit different. Feel me? Like if you threw Superman in the Invincible universe, Superman would be a problem for everybody.
See, what people don't realize about our community is our women have been allowed to go in on us for so long. They have socially conditioned us to be weak men. And then to add insult to injury, they talk shit about us being weak men.
Yep.
Even to this day, they're still.
Example of that is that a black woman would expect you to be emotionally intelligent, take you on a date, pay for the date, accommodate you, and then will turn right back around and call you a sucker or trick, or call you a feminine man. Bro, they're like, and nobody checks the women and say, but wait a minute. He's not a trick or a sucker. He did what society expected him to do. You're the woman that you didn't like the nigga, you played the nigga. Why did you accept the date from him? Nobody calls out the women. We just call the men that y'all are tricks and suckers for doing that. And then now, if the men don't do that stuff now, he's being called, bro, black men, you gotta leave black culture, bro. This shit, bro.
Still doing it. If you come up on one of these panels as an unapologetic black man that talks shit, they will make you feel like you are the scum of the universe. How do I know? Because I experience it all the time. but they can't condition me. I'm built different.
Facts.
I don't give a damn how much they complain about how I act, how I speak, how I talk, how I function, how I move, because the idea of a woman telling me what to do makes my fucking blood boil.
That's why I quit a lot of my jobs. Just like with me, there's always a job with me where some bitch is just getting on my fucking nerve and trying to dominate me. And I say, you know, I'm out of this motherfucker. Maybe I'm a Sigma for real, bro. I don't know. I don't know, bro.
I'm different. I'm different. But a lot of these men are not. A lot of these men were raised by women, so they have this condition. They are so used to their mama being overbearing, bossing them around, critiquing them every step of the way, emasculating them every step of the way, that they have now accepted it all throughout their life into adulthood. This is why if you get on a panel with the average everyday black man and you start critiquing black women, they get uncomfortable. They start squirming in their seat. Why? Because they're afraid of what the women gonna say. Do you hear me? They're afraid of what the women are gonna say. Because in this day and age, there is nothing that means more to a black man than the validation of a black woman.
Facts.
There is nothing that means more to them. And the sad part is they never get any validation. They never get any validation. I've said it before.
At least with Superman, he get appreciation for what he do. At least with Superman, he get validation from Minneapolis, however you say that, the city name that he protect. At least he get respect, bro. Black men, we don't get respect for being Superman. We get shamed for being Superman. We get shamed for, bro, it's ridiculous.
And I'm going to say it again. The black man is Charlie Brown and the black woman is Lucy. And your respectability, the validation that you want from them is you kicking that football, and you ain't realized yet she ain't never gonna let you kick that football. Because she gets pleasure out of seeing you try to kick it and land on your damn back.
To Angry Man's point, you think when black women shame black men and say y'all not able to find jobs in the job market, you think black women are very aware that there is a effort to not get black men hired into these places, knowing that black men are not going to get hired into these job places that they work at, and then shaming you for not getting work? You think that's what it is? And that applies to the Charlie Brown analogy that Angry Man just made?
And that's just facts. And someone being at fault for something. I got a message for all black men.
This message sent chills up my spine, bro. I almost cried.
And the message may sound familiar. But I got a message for all black men. Black men, this is the Angry Man. I regret to report that both the black community and the black family have fallen. With a shadow, a dark shadow of the gynocracy rising to take its place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving black men. Trust in the force. Do not return to the black community.
Facts.
That time has passed.
That time passed in the 90s. Maybe the mid 2000s, you had a chance to take it back, but that time is done, brothers.
And our future is uncertain. We will each be challenged. Our trust, our faith, our friendships. But we must persevere. And in time, a new hope will emerge. May the force be with you always.
My version of that is Zion has failed. Serafina has succeeded in destroying it. And at this point, black men, is nothing you can really do. No amount of leadership, no amount of work you doing yourself is going to get these women to follow. You have to be like Lot's wife. Like Lot, and let Lot, as Angry Man says, turn into a pillar of salt. You have to let Sodom and Gomorrah go. You cannot fix this. And the thing is, black men, you did not cause the problem. You didn't destroy it. Black men fought like hell during the 60s, during the 70s, during Jim Crow, during slavery. And all the fighting you have done has amounted to nothing. Black women won't even acknowledge it. Even the good black women won't acknowledge it at this point. Like the Angry Man says, the time has passed and Zion has failed. And if you go watch the Matrix 4 movie, what was Zion remade into? Go look at the Matrix 4 movie. See what I'm talking about. But yo, this is Kish Yardy Gaming Nation signing off. Black men, yo, you gotta love yourself and respect yourself and leave these women alone. Let the player niggas that claim that there's nothing wrong with these women, let the players, the Max, and the pimps deal with them. The traditional black male, you gotta leave the shit, bro. Real talk. Do not be foolish and die with the ship. Leave.